Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Sports Talk. I am Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Saturday, July 2, first Saturday in July. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but the year seems to be going by fast. I don't want to sound like those old people, that be like, boy, time I move fast. But let's be real. Time I move pretty swift. Because just last week was June. Well, obviously last week had to be June, but you know what I mean? Like, time it just a fly by. Anyways, Sports Talk is brought to you by Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. Remember, like I say every week, there are several ways that you can listen to the show. If you're doing it on your radio, that's fine. If you want to be on the go download the Love 101 FM app in the Google Play or the Apple Store. You can also go in your browser, love101.org, listen there. Or you can go on Love 101 FM's YouTube and Facebook page, and you should see me live right now. And by the way, if you want to hear the show again, if you want to play it back for somebody else, or if you want to recommend somebody else listen to the show, then you can tell them, say, go on the app and you can listen it again, or go on YouTube and Facebook. I will be there permanently. Well, I won't be there permanently, but the show will be there permanently. I don't want nobody thinks I'm stuck on YouTube and Facebook. By the way, you can also WhatsApp me at any time you feel like during the show, 876-997-3125. That is 876-997-3125. If you want to leave some comments regarding anything that you hear throughout the show, or you can leave it in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook. We're definitely going to have a good show today. One of our guests is the national 400-meter champion, Jevaughn Powell, who has been our most consistent 400-meter runner this year and our fastest runner this year. So we'll hear about his successful season, his expectations going into the World Championships, and, being driven by his late mother, who, we love to hear those type of relationships. It's very hard losing your mother, but he's using her memory to drive on his successful career. So great to hear that, and you hear that immediately after the 1:15 break. Then we'll also hear later on in the show from Andrew Price, the former Reggae Girls assistant coach. We'll talk about the Reggae Girls' chances of qualifying for the World Cup again. They begin qualification on July 4, which is, today is July 2. That's Monday, right? Yeah, that's Monday. Against Mexico, they're also drawn in the group against USA, tough, and Haiti. So we'll talk about all that later on in the show. All right, so as you know, I usually start out by giving my monologue, which I call the Danielog. But let's start with the sports bits for this week, which is a mini sports report. All right. So the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association has named the team for the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, which runs from July 15 to 24. Following the national trials last week, over 60 athletes were named, including the likes of Elaine Thompson-Hira, Shericka Jackson, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Johan Blake, Hansel Parchment, Megan Tapper, and Jevaughn Powell, who you'll hear from very shortly. However, 200-meter champion Andrew Hudson, he won't be allowed to run because he's not eligible to represent Jamaica until July 28. Remember, he is American, switching over there. Akeem Bloomfield, who finished 6th in the men's 400 meters, has been named as his replacement. Now, the Jamaica Premier League champions will be decided on Sunday, that's tomorrow, at Sabina Park, when Harbourview take on first-time finalists Dundee Holden. Harborview got the better of regular season leaders Waterhouse with a 2-1 aggregate semi-final win, while Dunbeholden ousted defending champions Cavalier 4-2 on penalties after a thrilling 4-all aggregate scoreline. The match will kick off at 6 p.m. with the third place playoff between Waterhouse and Cavalier starting at 3 p.m. While the Reggae Girls look to qualify for the World Cup, the under-20 boys failed to qualify for their under-20 World Cup after going down 1-0 to the Dominican Republic on Wednesday. A win would have seen them automatically qualify for next year's tournament in Indonesia. Representing the Concacaf region will be the DOMREP, USA, Honduras, and Guatemala, who stunned Mexico on penalties. Now, water sports world governing body, FINA, confirmed the appointment of Jamaica swimming legend Alia Atkinson to the chair of their athletes committee on Wednesday. World record holder Atkinson will have the responsibility for athletes affairs, not only for swimming, but in all water sport disciplines. As chairperson, she represents the committee and athletes' voice at the highest level of decision making. The 5-time Olympian Atkinson retired from the sport in 2021 after competing at the World Swimming Championships in December. Shameless plug. If you go on YouTube and Facebook, you can watch my interview with Alia that I did earlier this year. Was that really shameless? No, just I promote my thing, right? The West Indies' first of 3 T20 internationals against Bangladesh and Dominica has been delayed by rain. It was scheduled to start at 12:30. Vice captain Omar Powell, Brandon King, and Odin Smith are the Jamaicans in the 11. It's the first time in 5 years that Windsor Park has seen international cricket after Hurricane Maria caused major damages to the island of Dominica. And finally, in the NBA, at the start of free agency, several superstars signed max contracts extensions worth over $200 million US, including reigning league MVP Nikola Jokic, who now has the biggest contract in the history of the sport. $200 million. My gosh. One of the major talking points, though, is 2-time NBA champion Kevin Durant requesting a trade from the Brooklyn Nets despite signing a 4-year extension last summer. The Nets are also planning to trade Kyrie Irving despite him opting into his contract for the upcoming season. Really hope that Kyrie comes to the Lakers because we need help. All right, so it is time for my monologue for this week, the Daniel-log.
Hi, this is David Blake.
This is Hope Blake.
I am Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm here to tell you right now.
It's time for the Daniel-log.
The Daniel-log.
The Daniel-log.
I love it.
Presented by no one.
You know who are the most honest people on the planet? Children. As in, children don't really have a filter. Like, they will say what they see or what comes to their mind, and 9 times out of 10, they are right. Them just honest. They don't know how to be different, which is why you can pick up when a child is lying, because it's just not in their nature to lie. So, for example, a few years ago, where was I? I think, was I at church or somewhere? Anyways, a child came up to me and said, "Sir, how your belly so big and your brother belly so small?" at the time, yeah, my brother's belly was, him did very much in shape, and his brother was certainly not. But she shot it straight. Did I feel that way? Yeah, but at the same time, I knew that it was coming from a child, so it was extremely funny that she noticed that. It was really cool. But for all the women out there, and even some men to an extent, when a child gives you a compliment, it feels like it's almost an angel give you a compliment, because the fact that a child can notice, "Oh my God, you're so pretty," or "I love your hair," or "I love your dress," or whatever, ladies, you just feel an extra type of goodness about yourself. Like, this child knows that I look good, right? So children just have this honesty and this vibe about them, and we give them a lot of grace and sympathy for them to say these type of things and them good. So we should therefore give adults, especially athletes, the same type of grace and sympathy when they're honest, because it seems as though when we get to this older stage and people are open with their struggles or whatever it is, we tend to judge them and criticize them rather than to extend the grace that we would do a child. So Omar Mcleod, or 2016 Olympic champion, last year he was criticized for his comments. Remember when he didn't make the team last year, and he was saying, the schedule was messed up. He never get a proper meal, all those type of things, and the way it came across felt disrespectful to many, including myself. But he did explain, and we moved on as Hans Apartment eventually won Olympic gold. But this year, before the trials last week, he said that, he pulled out of one of the meets before because he was not in the mental and physical shape. And then afterwards, after the final, when he didn't make the team last week, he said that he lost his cousin who was pregnant at the time, and he's found the grieving process very difficult. And a lot of people, especially, the ones I saw on social media, were critical of him, saying, oh, it's just an excuse, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm extremely close to my cousins. Most of my cousins are female. Many of them are mothers. So I honestly can't imagine losing one of them and not, just even saying it just sounds weird. So imagine Omar is going through that, and there are people who are saying, oh, it's just another excuse, or him should have set his mind right because other people are going through things and them get it done. But just because other people are doing it just doesn't give him the freedom or the opportunity to do it too. We're all humans. We all face things differently, and Omar should be given that grace that you would give a child or to anybody else who is grieving. Not because he's an athlete, he's an Olympic champion, he's one of the best hurdlers Jamaica and arguably the world has ever seen. That don't mean that he must just ignore everything in his life and just get over something that he's dealing with just to come and run a race. At the end of the day, when he retires, his medals will fade, but losing a cousin who clearly he was close to, he won't be able to ever get that back. So condolences to Omar and his family, and just to let fans know, be gracious to people, extend some sympathy and some compassion to others, because we aren't machines. You aren't a machine, and you wouldn't want somebody else to treat you the way that, you may treat other people. That is my monologue for this week, the Danielog. And then we are going into a break. And when we come back, we will hear from the national 400-meter champion, Jevaughn Powell. Stay with us.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Are you ready for more fun this summer? This Saturday, July 2, Love 101 presents the I Love Summer Pull-Up Stop at Evangel Temple Deliverance Center in Portmore, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So who are we going to see?
Come out and dance holy as DJ Rebirth spins the gospel with a youthful touch. Pull up and listen for the live performances from Minister Howdy,
Lubert Levy,
and Lucas Music.
So you are invited to come over. Yes, and be on location. And let's love up the summer pull up. Come hang with our youth ambassador Jevaughn Powell, our very own DJ Rebirth, and Kim Lee on location. We are on a Jamaican colors and make sure you go all out enough. It's I Love Summer Jamaica 60 edition.
I Love Summer Pull Up this Saturday, July 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Evangel Temple Deliverance Center on the Helsha Main Road. It's gonna be live on the family station, Love 101.
If it's not you.
Love 101, the family station, invites you to listen for a blessing Tuesday, July 5 at 8 p.m. as we share a live broadcast from the Faith Claim Ministries Convocation with worship from Kevin Downswell and a powerful word from Bishop Arthur Grant to bless and lift your spirit. The convocation begins Sunday, July 3 and continues through to Tuesday, July 5 under the theme, Oh, to See His Face. The broadcast will be live on Love 101 social media platforms and on radio. Tuesday, July 5, 8 p.m. It will be on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101 FM. So last week, many of you watched the national trials, and it was certainly one of the best that we've seen in quite a while. In all the events, it was absolutely fantastic. But in one of those events, Jevaughn Powell stood out in the men's 400 meters. He's the new national champion after being our most consistent and our fastest runner this year. Just 21, attending the University of Texas in El Paso, and he will now go in as one of our 400 meters hopes heading into the World Championship. So we asked him about his successful season so far, his expectations heading into the World Championships, and he'll also talk about, honoring his late mother. But before that, I asked him, a few days gone, almost a week gone. So I asked him how he's currently feeling about being the national 400 meter champion.
I'm feeling really great. I'm just trying to refocus and go get it at the World Championship. So it's just a great feeling knowing that I'm going to move forward to complete a great season.
Yeah, at the championships, you were the fastest and most consistent runner heading in, especially with that 44.87 that you did a few weeks before. But the conditions were not ideal in the final because there was the rain and the wet track. Were you nervous at any point, and how did you manage to keep your composure?
Well, I don't get nervous before races. I'm more likely to get anxious to go run. And since this season, I have developed a mindset of just going out there and compete. I love competing, so it felt good in the moment, and the rain wasn't falling when I was running, but it felt good to go out there at the moment to compete with everybody else.
Yeah, and knowing your competition at the time, you know, you had athletes who've been there before, like Chris Taylor, Keem Bloomfield, Nathan Allen. Were you even prouder to know that you got by these athletes who maybe in the past people looked as them as potential favorites?
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure for me competing with all of them, you know. But overall, I love the relationship, all of the athletes that was in the finals and even before the finals. Everybody was a team. We all reasoned. We all talk in the car room. So everybody, I wasn't nervous about everybody, but I knew that when we go on the track, we're gonna compete against each other. So that was just the goal, you know. So it felt more relaxing knowing that everybody was excited to compete with each other.
Yeah. So you've had an excellent season at the University of Texas in El Paso. But previously, a lot of our collegiate athletes, when coming to our senior championships, would sort of struggle or fade due to the heavy workload that they do on the collegiate scene. How did you manage to maintain your form and get that qualifying spot at the championships?
I guess it's more based on your coach's plan for you and the future. So most coaches, you know, they get you ready for the NCs, some get you for the regional games. But no, Davian always tell me that his program focuses more on the Jamaica Trials and the World Championship, anything after the NC. So I was pretty confident in what I will come to Jamaica to do. And I guess I did it. And he always tell me only thing I need to do is just stay consistent and I will be on the top.
Speaking of your coach, Davian Clark, one of our most successful quarter milers, how important has that relationship been for you this season?
Davian is more than a coach to me, you know. He's a person that you could sit and talk to about everything. So I think that played a big role in my success this season. So I love that about him. He's not all about track and field. You could talk to him about personal stuff. He knows a lot of stuff. Like, he has been through a lot of stuff, and he could sit and explain like life to me without me experiencing it.
Yes, many of our college athletes, you know, feel sometimes misunderstood or they feel out of place because of the change in environment, leaving Jamaica and heading to whichever state. Do you feel more comfortable there knowing that you have Davian, who is not only Jamaican, but he's also done the event and that you do and has done it successfully?
Oh, yes, sir. That was one of the main reasons why I went to UTEP, because he and his wife is Jamaican, and you know I visited other schools, but I like the relationship we developed in the first go when I just got there. So that was one of the main reasons why I went to UTEP, because of Coach Clark.
Does he have any particular expectations of you heading into the World Championships or even going into trials? Did you feel any pressure from him, or was it like, you know, Jevaughn, just go out there and do your best?
No, he will not tell me to go do my best, and he is not the person who will tell me that I need to go win. He just tell me the race plan. He know my abilities, and he always tell me just to believe in myself, and that's all I had to do, because he's a person that he doesn't shout at you if you don't do great. At the national NCs, I didn't compete at my best, and I was mad at myself, and I was wondering why he was mad at me. But it was like I have a chance next week to go make the team, so I just gonna make it right and just correct all the mistakes that I made and learn from it. So he's not the person that's gonna cuss you out and tell you you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah. So on top of the 400-meter champion, you were named All-American and first CUSA Men's Track Athlete of the Year, joining several others, including our Jamaican legend, Bert Cameron. Were you surprised by your dominance this season over the collegiate ranks?
I was not. I didn't think I'd sit and imagine myself in this position. All I knew that I had the ability, so I just worked hard and I had goals, but I don't think my goals was to make it this far. It was like short-term goals, you know. I wanted to do it, but I didn't see myself doing it. So that's why I'm really happy. Like I sit and smile when I remember what I've achieved this season.
And a lot of people may not know, but in the past you've had some struggles physically. I think that you had a quad injury which was bothering you. You even caught COVID. How difficult was that recovery process and keeping your mental right during that entire time?
Well, I'm a person, I'm easy to forget stuff, and I don't really make like things bother me. So when it was indoors, it was like my second to last race indoors season where I caught COVID and I didn't run any race some season. So I opened my season with like 21.9 in the 200. And then the next week after that, when like I just came out of COVID, I opened with a personal best in the 400, and that just bring my confidence up, knowing that I just came out of COVID and I opened with a personal best. That show how good I am. So after that, I guess it worked for me. So that showed me that I could go even much faster outdoors after recovering from the injury and the COVID.
So moving from the Jamaican high school system to the collegiate system with Davion at UTEP, how different is that transition? Like how difficult was it in terms of acclimatizing to the weather there, the training, all that type of thing?
I should say the weather in El Paso is much more like Jamaica. You know, it's in Texas. It only snows once a year, or probably one day. So the weather wasn't a factor. It's just the altitude. It's really high, and when I just got there, it makes my chest feel like it's bleeding. So that wasn't a big thing. Over like probably 2 weeks, you would be okay. But yeah, it wasn't hard to adjust. In terms of training, I think college practice is more easy when it comes to like competition time, because
really?
Most of the meets are like in the week, so we only get 2 days to practice, Monday and Tuesday, and that's it. We gotta go to the meet, come back Monday, Tuesday again, and we travel Wednesday and compete Thursday, Friday, whatever day.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to hear that, especially because in the past, some athletes that I've spoken to, the training and traveling sometimes gets extremely difficult and wears on their body. But for you, it seems like it's completely different. Could you point out any reason why that might be?
Well, I guess that most of the meets I have been to this season, we only drove for like 6 hours. And if it's a plane, it's only like twice for the season we take the plane to go to the meet. So I didn't have any complaints. I'm in El Paso, New Mexico. It's like 30 minutes away, 3 hours away, based on what meet you're going to. So UTEP tried to stay closer to home when it comes to traveling. So I didn't have a problem with traveling. I'm not a big fan of traveling, but I didn't have any problem with traveling this season.
Yeah. And even when we talk about our high school system here in Jamaica, a lot of times we talk about, balancing schoolwork with athletics. ISA having their own rules and stuff here. How have you managed to balance that academic side and still be very dominant on the track?
Well, for me, I really don't take school that serious. You know, I love doing my schoolwork. I don't like to see like I fail on my grade, but you know, as long as I believe that if I'm doing good in track, my schoolwork will come in place. If I'm doing it good, great in school, then my track will come in place. So that's my belief, and I always work towards balancing everything. And I like feeling good when I get a good GPA. So it's a choice. So it's a choice of you want to feel after finishing all your exams. So that's why I go hard for everything, so I could feel good after doing it.
Yeah. So after the national championships, when you won, you had dedicated the race to your mother who passed in December of 2019, just shortly after you moved to El Paso. It's even sort of hard for me to ask because I honestly can't imagine doing all that. But how difficult was that period for you, knowing that you're heading into this new life and then, having to deal with this, tragic situation?
Well, for me, I haven't spoke to anybody about this, but for me and my mom had a close relationship. We grew up together, me and my little niece, and when she was sick, we talked, and we had some personal conversation, some deep conversation. So when she died, it didn't take a toll on me. I didn't feel any kind of way because I think it's because we talked about it, and then it was like a couple months after that, I was like stressing out, knowing that why am I not feeling any kind of way that she died. But I think this year was the year that everything came down on me. I just realized that she died, and I had to cry and stuff like that. And that's what I think built me this year, and I had a purpose why I need to work hard and why I need to win. So it was a great thing for me this year, to feel like that. So I just let everything out and just put it towards what I want to do and what I want to achieve in life.
So heading into the World Championships and even going on further in your career, does that love and the memory of your mother drive you on more than your own personal goals?
Yes, sir. It's like every time before the gun goes off, that's the last person I think about. I have to make it a lifestyle to not forget my purpose of doing it. So even in the race, when I'm going through the last 100 meters of the race, if I should think about her and find that extra push, I'm gonna do it. So yes, sir.
Yeah, very, very beautiful to hear. In terms of the World Championships, it begins in just a few weeks. How will you be preparing for it, knowing that there will essentially be no more competitive races until the championships begin?
I wanted to compete this weekend, but I don't think it's gonna work out. But I guess I gotta go there, and I've been saying this. I'm gonna go there and run my heats like it's the finals. I'm expecting big things from myself because I have put myself in the position of being the top man for Jamaica to go compete for them. So I have to live up to that. So I'm gonna run each and every race like it's my finals. I know I'm not on the level that most of the other athletes are, but I'm not counting out myself. So I'm just gonna go there and put out a 200% for each run and try to make it to the finals.
Yeah, some of those athletes like Michael Norman, champion Alison Kirani, James, Stephen Gardner, etc., all dubbed the favorites from the outside. But you're definitely banking on yourself. Are you thinking about possibly getting a medal, or do you just want to improve on your personal best?
If I should be honest with my times, and things are possible, but you know, the level that they are on right now, it's gonna be hard to be in the top three if you're not running like 43 seconds. But I believe I could run 43 seconds if I execute better and believe in myself. So, but now looking at it, it's gonna be a hard task to be in the top three. So I think that's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah. Over the last few championships or 400-meter athletes on the men's side haven't been as consistent as I guess people would want them to be. You and Christopher Taylor, I believe, are the only two athletes who've gone under 45 since 2019. Do you feel any extra pressure knowing that you are now being seen as the one to carry Jamaica's hopes in the event, or are you just ignoring all that noise?
No, I have to ignore it because most of the supporters, like the Jamaicans, they don't really understand anything about track and field. You know, they just see us running. You know, I don't really look at the comments they make on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, because as me as a young athlete just coming up to the world stage, you know, it's a learning process. I haven't seen any athlete that just went big and started winning everything, running fast, like leaving from 47 seconds to 43 in a year. Last year I was running 46, now I'm running 44. That was a 2-second drop for me. So, you know, it's just a process and you gotta do it to learn it most of the times, you know. I see Norman and all of them, they ran 43 seconds, and I don't think they still haven't get an Olympic medal, still haven't get a world champs medal in the individual event. So, you know, it's just a process, and I don't think Jamaicans will understand that because they expect you to do good, right, as you get in the game, but it's a process for me. And I'm gonna always stick and remember that, you know, there's next year, I have a lot more to improve and a lot more to learn.
Yeah. So just diverting a bit off the world champs, Edwin Allen, your alma mater, while you were there, you were the only one really in medal contention on the boys' side because people classify it more on the girls' success. But this year they finished in the top 5 of the boys' side. Were you almost excited to see that and, you know, kind of optimistic that more boys who attend Edwin Allen can reach those levels at champs?
Well, it was a great feeling for me, you know, that I communicate with all the boys like throughout the season, and you know, my old coach, Mr. Powell, we have a great relationship, even after I leave to college and everything like that. You know, he has been doing a good job, and I already knew that the team that they were going in with would have placed them in the top 5. So I didn't have any doubt about that. And you know, they want to do good. So when you want to do good and you put your mind to it, then I think they will achieve it. So that's what happened this year for them.
Yeah, I think I saw an interview with you where you said that you almost see yourself as a leader. You spoke about being in contact with a lot of the boys from Edwin Allen. Is, you know, leadership and mentorship something that you take very seriously?
Yes. I think that over the past year, I think I have grown a lot, you know, mentally, physically, you know, to understand that if it's something you really want to do and really want to do good at, you have to make sure you do everything that you need to do to be successful. So I sit and talk to most of them, you know, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You know, you don't do stuff that is not gonna benefit in you being the best athlete that you should be.
Yeah. So finally, as I mentioned, the World Championships are just a few weeks away. Which athlete are you, apart from, you know, your event, which athletes are you most looking forward to seeing compete? Maybe talk to them one away, probably get a selfie, like somebody that you're a fan of who will be competing at the World Champs. Like, what are you expecting there?
Well, I don't know. I already see all the athletes, you know, Michael Norman and all of them. But the person that I'm excited to see run at the World Championship is the Jamaica 4x4 for men. For me, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. Yes, sir.
You think that you can potentially stop that US team who people think are the favorites, or you're just aiming to get a medal?
No, for me, I believe that if we go out there on the day, we could win because I believe that the fastest you could split on a 4x4 leg is probably 42 seconds or 43 seconds. And all our guys, not because they're not running 44s or not running are not running 43, doesn't mean they cannot split 43. So if we go out there and everybody gives a 43 effort on the day, I know you're not gonna have two US athletes splitting 42 seconds. So I think we could possibly win if we show up on the day.
Yeah, that's exciting to hear. Lastly, if Shelly knocks on your door and says she wants to iron out her wig, are you doing it or not?
Well, I think I would. I would. Yeah, I'm that type of person that would do that.
Jevaughn Blake, their national 400 meter champion. Definitely great to speak to him, knowing how open and honest he was about his own situation, and just him just being realistic about his chances at the World Champs. And like we saw last year with Oblique Seville and Hansel Parchment, nobody's head is safe when it comes to Shelley's wigs. So wishing Jevaughn Powell all the best heading into the World Champs as we look for him to, just do his best. No super expectations on him as yet. Just want him to go out there and do well. All right, so we are going into another break, our final break for the show. And when we come back, we'll be talking the Reggae Girls with former Reggae Girls assistant coach Andrew Price. So stay with us.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Celebration Church presents our anniversary event with Kevin Townswell. Sunday, July 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. at Celebration Church, Lot 1E Portmore Skating Rink behind Portmore Mall, St. Catherine. Bask in the anointing with one of the Caribbean's leading worship ministers. Experience the healing and miracle touch of God. Tickets $1,900 pre-sold, $2,500 at the gate. Get yours now at York Pharmacy Halfway Tree, Genus Pharmacy Portmore, and Lane Pharmacy Mona. Call us at 876-467-1527 for more information.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Join the 5K walk, run, and health fair with lots of prizes and surprises to offer. Saturday, July 9 with the 5K walk run starting at 6:30 a.m. at 92 Red Hills Road, opposite Red Hills Mall. Then when you're done walk and run, stay for the health fair, which starts at 10:30 a.m. To register, call 876-899-2700 or 577-7300. God Family Ministries 5K walk, run, and health fair, Saturday, July 9. On your mark, set, let's stay healthy. Are you ready for more fun this summer? This Saturday, July 2, Love 101 presents the I Love Summer Pull-Up Stop at Evangel Temple Deliverance Center in Portmore, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
So who are we going to see?
Come out and dance holy as DJ Rebirth spins the gospel with a youthful touch. Pull up! And listen for the live performances from Minister Howdy,
Lubert Levy,
and Lucas Music.
So you are invited to come over. Yes, and be on location. And let's love up the summer pull-up. Come hang with our youth ambassador, Jevaughn Powell, our very own DJ Rebirth, and King Lee on location. We are on a Jamaican colors, and make sure you go all out enough. It's I Love Summer, Jamaica 60 edition.
I Love Summer Pull-Up this Saturday, July 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Evangel Temple Deliverance Center on the Helsha Main Road. It's gonna be live on the family station, Love 101.
It is 1:47 Jamaica time. It is still Sports Talk here on Love 101, just around less than, I'd say, 12 minutes to go. The Reggae Girls will look to qualify for yet another World Cup next year in Australia and New Zealand after doing so historically in France 2019. They start the Concacaf Women's Championships on Monday. They will open their campaign against the hosts, Mexico, and then on Thursday they play against the United States, and then they'll end the campaign against Haiti. The top two will automatically qualify for the World Cup, but worst case scenario, third place will advance to the Interconfederation playoffs, where they'll face other countries from different regions. So it is definitely a very tough task. So, we are wishing the Reggae Girls well, but someone who knows the Reggae Girls very well is former assistant coach Andrew Price. I spoke to him earlier this morning. We spoke about the team's chances heading into the CONCACAF Women's Championships. But first, I asked him about his thoughts on Lauren Donaldson after he returned to the program after being removed a few years ago.
Well, Lauren is a noted coach. He's very good. He's good at his craft, and he coaches both males and females at his Real Colorado Academy in Colorado, United States. So he's quite aware of a lot of the players that we will see in the CONCACAF Women's Championship, because several of his players have come through his system and played for the United States. So he's quite aware of the task at hand. He's an experienced coach, and I believe that he can get the girls ready for the tournament.
Yeah, so he hosted the girls at his base in Colorado, but the girls have had no real competitive matches since the pre-qualifying matches a few months ago. Do you think that this hampers their chances, or do you believe that their club forms will carry into the national team?
It will definitely hamper their chances. If you look at the other teams that have qualified for the final round of the CONCACAF Women's Championship, a lot of them have been playing practice games. Even this week, recently, the United States and Mexico played practice games. So we are definitely at a disadvantage not being able to play any practice games going into the championship. But the good thing about it is that I believe that this squad that has been picked to go to the championship is a better squad than we had that qualified for the 2019 World Cup finals in France. They are better quality players. They are more professionals who are playing at big elite clubs throughout Europe and in the United States. So I believe that, they have the quality and the experience in which they can definitely assist Jamaica to get to both Australia and New Zealand for the next Women's World Cup.
Yeah, and speaking of that squad, back in that qualifying campaign for the 2019 World Cup, a lot of the pressure and burden was put on Khadija Bunny Shaw because she was by far our best player. But now that we have so many of these professionals playing in Europe and across America and those other countries, do you think that it makes life not only easier for Coach Donaldson, but even for Khadija, knowing that she doesn't have to carry this load all by herself compared to previous times?
Most definitely, with the quality players that we have added, especially those who play in the English Women's Premier League, I believe those additions will definitely help the team and will be an asset, and it will definitely take a lot of pressure off Khadija Shaw. Khadija Shaw will continue to be the talisman for the team where they go to, but at least we'll have some quality players who can also get goals and provide Khadija with the opportunity to score more goals.
Yeah, Donaldson, Coach Donaldson, in an interview during the recent camp said that fitness has been the main issue. As a coach yourself, is there any way to get fitness up to the required standard in such a short space of time, or do you just try to work on the other things to ensure that it isn't a huge issue?
Well, you have to have that balance. It's going to be very difficult with the short period of time that Donaldson had his camp to get them up to the optimum fitness.
Yeah.
But as the days pass and you get closer to the tournament, you try and work them into the best possible shape they have. Also, you try and work on some tactical situations. The girls need to gel to understand, get some chemistry, understand the system of play that Donaldson wants them to play. And I believe that they are accomplished where they'll be able to react very quickly to adjust and play to that system. And as long as they're constantly training in the camp, the fitness will step up day by day. He would have wanted it to been better having come into the camp, but it is what it is, and he's trying to whip them into shape, and he has a very good trainer in Will Hisselberger who knows how to get people into shape, and he has done a nice job with the Jamaican team in the past, and I'm sure it won't be any different. So they have been dealt a hand, and it's just the hand that they have to play, and I believe that they'll be in the best possible shape they can be to try and qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah. You watched a lot of the team during the pre-qualifying campaign against Grenada, Cayman Islands, and Bermuda, and that final match at Sabina Park against the Dominican Republic. From what you saw, what do you think that the team needs to improve on as we go against the likes of Mexico and US?
Well, one of the things that we need to do is to be able to keep possession of the ball a lot more. I think playing against those teams, because we knew we were better than them, we really didn't come out of second gear, and we did just enough to qualify for the championship. But I believe coming up with more stronger opposition now, we have to play with more quality. We have to try and keep more possession. Defensively, we have to have a good shape, and when we get there, opportunity without athleticism, we have to go forward very quickly and see if we can counter these teams. But I believe that we have enough quality where we could do it.
Yeah, half the team that played in that World Cup in 2019 is also part of the squad during the qualifying campaign. I know that we say it pretty often on the surface, but how important is it to have some of those players who had that experience of qualifying and going to the World Cup, to have them now going up in this very tough group?
Oh, definitely. I think it will do loads of good for the team. The girls that qualified the team in 2019 went through a lot in their qualifiers and at the World Cup, and they would have gained significant experience and know the nuances of playing in these types of tournaments. So their experience will definitely come to the fore, and they will assist the players who have been there before. But at the same time, a lot of these players I've played for other countries like England at the junior and senior level, so they'll be able to adjust very quickly. So the experience that we have in the squad now is very vital, and I think it will make up for the lack of top form fitness that is required at this point in time, and they'll play themselves into shape.
Back in that 2019 qualifying campaign, when the team qualified, it was seen as a surprise because at the time we were still using a lot of the local girls and some of the girls in the universities and playing professionally in America at the time. So it was almost this shock and this overjoy heading into the World Cup. Now there's a lot of expectations that they should almost qualify. As a coach, as Coach Donaldson prepares the team mentally, are they under more pressure than they were back during that qualifying campaign?
Yes, I believe they are under more pressure because we have more experienced players and more professionals, so the expectation is that much higher. The only problem we have, we didn't have adequate preparation. Our preparation is less than optimum. We should have been prepared long ago. We should have been playing practice games long ago. We had the dislocation with the most recent coach, and now decided on finding a coach to take over now at this late stage in Donaldson. But I believe that he's the man for the job, and I believe that if all things align in the right way, I believe that we have a great opportunity to try and qualify for our second World Cup.
And finally, speaking of qualifying, we go against the world's best in USA, a top 30 ranked Mexico, and we also have Haiti in our group. Do you think that we have a realistic shot of getting one of those automatic qualifying spots, or should we probably turn our attention to just beating Haiti to get to that intercontinental playoff?
No, I think we have a legitimate opportunity. We can definitely come second in the group. I mean, the worst case scenario is to come third. But we have to take it game by game, and I think the very first game against Mexico is a very important game. It's going to be very difficult playing against Mexico at home, but I believe that we have the requisite skill and quality that we could get 3 points in that first game. For bare minimum, we need to at least get 3 points, and those 3 points should come against Haiti. Can't take them lightly though, but we have to be realistic, and it is hopeful that we can get maybe 3 to 6 points in the round. If we are able to get 3 to 6 points in the round, in the best case scenario we get 6 points, then we go automatically to the World Cup by getting into the semifinals. If we come third in the group by beating Haiti, then we have an opportunity in the Intercontinental Cup, and I believe that our chances are just as good if we go into that Intercontinental Cup qualification.
Former Reggae Girls assistant coach Andrew Price, they are talking about the Reggae Girls' chances heading into the Concacaf Women's Championships as they look to qualify for a second straight World Cup. So thank you to Coach Price. Also thank you to Jevaughn Powell, who we spoke to earlier in the show. But that's all the time I have for this afternoon. Thank you to everyone who tuned in on all the various platforms. I really appreciate it. Join me next week because we'll be previewing the World Championships with the experts, so you don't want to miss that. Sports Talk was brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. Please stay safe and enjoy your weekend.